Welcome to the GuthrieAmerica podcast, where we sit down with amazing people who do life in our community and who are from here, because we believe every story should be told. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Heady Coleman. Today, I'm sitting down with the world famous, renowned Dr. Don Hacker. Am I saying that right? Hacker. Before we jump into this conversation with Dr. Don, will you please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, YouTube, all the things? I would deeply appreciate that. Also, shout out to Guthrie, North Church Guthrie, for giving us a space to have these conversations, because, again, we want to have every story told. Will yours be next, ladies and gentlemen? Will yours be next? Dr. Don, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
I super appreciate you. I appreciate all the great things that I also see that you do in the community, how you care for students, all of the things. What's your favorite thing about being a chiropractor?
You said I was going to know the answers to these questions.
That's definitely an answer for you, yeah.
My favorite thing is probably the things that you don't think you can fix, and then you do.
Yeah.
A little bit of faith, a little bit of love, and
Make it happen.
yeah.
Yeah. How often do you get people coming in like this is their first time ever coming to a chiropractor? Like, do you have a lot of first time patients who's ever been to a chiropractor?
I would say more so since COVID. During COVID, everything was shut down. So massage therapy was shut down, acupuncture was shut down, pain management was shut down, and physical therapy was shut down. So with that, there was a lot of pain and no other options. And so, when they would go, call their doctor or whatever, their doctor say, well, you could go to the chiropractor, and tons of patients that, they were so desperate at the time that they would try anything. And those people are still patients now, 5 years later, because it helps them and they realize that. So
what is something that most people don't think about coming to a chiropractor that it would help?
I think the one that blows everyone's mind the most is like constipation in babies. Okay. They, when they're learning to walk, they fall a lot. And so when they land on their little tailbones and their little bottoms, it kind of like shoves their little spine and causes them to be constipated. And so when you adjust the baby, you put everything back where it goes and everything works.
What, did you recently tell my daughter-in-law that?
I don't think so.
No.
Did.
They were saying something to me, and I was like, "Oh, I thought it was something like that, but maybe it wasn't a chiropractor, but a different kind of doctor. Maybe it was an eye doctor or something like that." Oh yeah, it was. I think it was Dr. Pageant that told them that they'll come see their daughter for free or whatever.
Yeah,
check the eyes and do all those things. But I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Huh.
What, because people are always like, "Oh my gosh, you take your baby to the chiropractor?" Well, yeah. I mean, and it's not like they don't have pain. They don't. Babies, and then they can't tell you. But most recently, I had a little baby. She was probably like 7 months old, maybe, and she's learning to turn over. And she dislocated her arm trying to turn over. And so every time her mom would try to like change her diaper or whatever, she would lift her arm, and the baby would scream her head off and just cry. And I mean, she can't talk yet, so she can't tell you my arm hurts. And so her mom brought her in, and it was just the sweetest little thing, because like I just kind of like put her arm back in place, and then she just had the biggest little grin on her face, and then she lifted it, and she was fine after that. But what's the worst thing as a mother? You're trying to change your baby's diaper or pick her up, and she's screaming her head off, and you don't know what's wrong with her. I mean, she was literally fine 5 minutes ago. Yeah, and then you just.
And then probably after trying everything, feed them, change the diaper.
Yeah, but it's like, you
things.
can tell because they're not lifting their arm, and when you try to lift their arm or whatever, they lose their mind crying their eyes out. And you're just like, as a first time mom, if that happened to me, I would be like, what the heck? Yeah. What do I do?
What did I do to the baby?
Yes, which this mom was, this was her third baby, so she was like, I think she probably popped her arm out of socket trying to turn over, and I was like, huh. Interesting. Yeah. Let's check it out.
Yeah. Now, do you do x-rays at
I don't know.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
We learned them in chiropractic school.
Okay.
I did not love it. I want to spend more time with patients, not in front of an x-ray. So
Got you.
I like sending them out. The radiologist, that you send to, they did extra years of school. And I feel like when they send me the report back, it comes back in a big, nice red bow. Like they tell me this is exactly what's wrong. And I'm like, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't have to take it. I didn't have to spend the money on it, and I didn't have to read it. So, woohoo!
That's good. Okay, so getting into a little bit more about you, but I want to know how would you say your family, if they were sitting over there, your best friend, whoever, Brittany was sitting over there, how would they describe Dr. Don?
Driven. Probably driven.
Yeah.
And busy. A little crazy.
Driven a bit. Now, was the thing to be driven? Was that something just always your personality?
Always.
Really? Even when you were younger?
Always.
Now, you were an athlete too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That probably helps you as an athlete for sure.
Yes.
It helps you in all areas of life,
Yes.
but especially as an athlete. Like how when you started playing sports?
4. I think I started t-ball at 4, and I played all the way till I graduated high school, and then basketball was my true love. I mean, I started that. We had like city league ball probably at 5. So, and I played competitive basketball all the way up till my senior year of high school.
Okay. What was your position? I
was point guard.
Oh, nice. Dishing the rock, huh? Mm-hmm. What made you fall in love with, was your family basketball?
I had an older brother and he played. And I mean, I grew up in the, 80s and 90s and we didn't have video games or any of that. You went outside and played ball. I mean, in the springtime you played softball and in the fall you played basketball. And so I had a phenomenal coach. I mean, she's a Hall of Fame coach. I mean, she's passed since, but she just was phenomenal and made you want to be better. And it was just really awesome with her. And just the sport is just awesome. So.
Yeah. What are some things that you learned from her that you may say that you apply now? Just from her, the way she coached you or just any of that? Any
she
life
was rough.
lessons?
I mean, I laugh because I coach my daughter's basketball team, and
her.
I would probably go to jail if I coached like her. I remember the first time I coached when Kennedy and them were 5, and I stomped my foot at the Y, and she always wore like some kind of dress shoe. Coach Hardwick always wore some kind of dress shoe, and when she hit that floor, I mean, you heard it, or the clipboard. She'd throw the clipboard or whatever. And I remember I had just, tennis shoes on, and I stomped my foot, and I had the clipboard in my hand, and I threw it. And then I caught myself, and I was like, I am hurt. And my brother happened to be there, and my brother's in the stands cracking up because he was like, But it's like, she coached me from 2nd grade. She was my coach from 2nd grade till my sophomore year.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, she was the only coach I had other than my dad in the summer. And so, I mean, everything that she taught me and instilled in me and her mannerisms and all that, they're there.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of whether you want them to come out or not, they're there.
For sure. That's good. Talking about your brother, just tell us about your family.
So I have an older brother, Ronnie. He lives in Kansas City. And then my mom she passed away 6 years ago. And then my dad is in Altus still. And then I have a husband and my daughter, Kennedy. Andy is my husband. Andy.
Tell us how you met your husband.
He was on a baseball scholarship in my hometown. My senior year of high school, he played. He was a pitcher. And so he came out from Tampa, Florida. And then we met at Mazio's Pizza.
Wow. Like you saw him for the first time at Mazio's Pizza?
I worked there. And on Tuesday nights, the whole baseball team would come in because it was all-you-can-eat pizza buffet for $2.99.
Oh, I remember the days.
Yes. And so the whole baseball team would come in and eat up all the pizza. Our manager would always be like, "Ugh." And he when we started dating, he would his name was Lynn. He would call and he would say, hey, are the baseball players coming tonight? And I'm like, well, I don't know. He's like, well, can you find out? And I'm like, why? And he's like, well, we're trying to prep buffet pizza. And if they're coming, we need to make about 20 more pizzas.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, we just started dating, but are y'all coming tonight? Because they would come and eat up all the pizza.
Now, here's the big question then. Was y'all's first date at Mazzio's?
No. So he got to Altus in January, and our first date was actually 26 years ago today. And so I kind of drove him around and gave him the grand tour of Altus, Oklahoma, which it didn't take long.
The big city of
There's
Altus.
not much to see, but
yeah.
just kind of took him on a tour showed him where my grandparents lived and, where I went to school, and just kind of drove him around. And it's very boring in Altus, so
Now, there's the Air Force Base, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where my wife was born.
Yes.
Bernadette was born at, her dad was in the military at Altus. And so, so was there a lot of people coming and going out because of the Air Force? Did you have a lot of military brat kids that you remember?
I mean, I think so. I don't really remember because, I kind of grew up, I transferred to Altus my sophomore year. And so I had gone to a two-way school called Navajo from kindergarten till my sophomore year.
Gotcha.
And so that one, it was, the same kids I started kindergarten with all the way, we had like 40 people in our class. So it was very small.
Yeah.
And I transferred to Altus just for more opportunities.
Yeah, sports and all
AP
that.
classes and, just I wanted to be able to do concurrent enrollment and that kind of stuff. And Navajo didn't offer those things at the time. And so I just felt with what I wanted to do with my life and career, that was going to be a better choice for me. And it wound up being yes. So.
Yeah. Going from the Navajo school to Altus, was there a big...
Oh, yeah.
Was it kind of shocking to you?
Yeah. I had never been in trouble in my life. And the first week, I remember I was trying to find my English class, and I could not find it. And so I was late to English. And so when the teacher said, you're 15 minutes late, and because I couldn't find the English class. Well, then I couldn't remember how to get back to the principal's office to be able to go tell them I couldn't find the English class. So I got detention. So she sends me to detention for being late. So then I'm late to detention because I couldn't find the detention room. And I tried to explain to them, this is my first week of school. I've never been here. I don't know where I'm going. And so it was all fine after that. I did my detention and was able to find my classes and...
You was like, what in the world?
Yeah, crazy. The counselor was my mother's Spanish teacher.
Oh, my.
And in high school. And my geometry teacher was also my parents. And he was my dad's baseball coach and their math teacher. And so it's funny because my mom and dad were not good students and kind of naughty. And when I introduced myself, just the look on their faces were... Oh, great, another one.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm nothing like my parents. I felt bad for saying that, but then it was fun because then at parent-teacher conference, when my mom went up there, Coach Freeman was like, well, she told me the first day she was nothing like y'all, and she's right.
Now, where did you evidently, thinking about AP classes, where my mind immediately went to sports to move to the bigger school, right? Like, so if your parents weren't quite that type of studious kind of approach to school, where'd you get it from? Like,
my dad was very smart. My dad was a 4.0 student, but my dad was a farm kid and a baseball player and just didn't want to go to school.
Gotcha.
So, and my mom was a teacher and she struggled with school, but she had to, if she studied, she did fine. It's not like my parents were dumb. They were not, B's were fine, C's were fine, and that is not fine for me. So.
Oh, wait, does this go back to you being driven?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, no, if there's an A, I need to get the A.
Well, and I remember one of my really good friends in second grade, we had who could read the most books. It was like, and do book reports.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think we hit close to the 200s. Just because, it was a race. I'm not going to lose. So my mom hated, we'd go to the library. Back then you go to the library and they would let you check out 10 books at a time. And I would read them and then she would have to take me back. And it got to the point where there were no more books. Like I would have to go, we'd drive to Lawton to go get books or Wichita Falls to go get books because when you've read them all.
Yeah.
You just, so yeah, if it's a race and I can win it, I'm.
That's where you're going.
Yeah.
You're going to try to win it. Now, are you still a reader?
Yes and no. I mean, I set a goal for myself this year to read 12 books. That's one a month. I'm struggling this month. February is hard. February is all the wrestling. And so there's not much free time on the weekends to read because I'm at wrestling. And so we went on a trip in January and I read 3 books. So I'm like, ooh, I'm already 3 ahead. So that covers January, February, March. So yeah, I'll pick it back up. I typically read mostly when we travel or, if someone, I mean, I'm on lots of little book clubs on Facebook. And if someone says, ooh, this is such a good book, then I try to get that. But like right now, I think I have 4 books in my queue at the library that I'm like number 52.
Oh, to get?
Like, I may not ever get those.
Yeah. So physical or digital? Which do you prefer?
I like to turn the pages, but I will take whatever, whichever one pops in first. That's what I usually get. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. First segment, top 5 is what we call this. Okay. Top 5 basketball players. I'm going to give you a list of 5 players. You got to put them in order 1 to 5, 1 being the greatest. Once I give you one player, if you say 3, they got to stay at 3, regardless of who the next one is. Okay. You got it?
Okay.
You ready? The first one is Kobe Bryant.
2.
Okay, make sure I get this. Kobe, 2. Allen Iverson.
4. I don't get to know the 5.
Not before I.
Oh, okay.
I'm giving it to you one at a time. You just got to place it, okay?
Okay.
But I'm impressed. Like, there was no hesitation on that. You are a basketball player. Like, most people be kind of stumped. Like, you had respect for Iverson. I like that. I loved Iverson. Okay. Penny Hardaway.
Ooh, I wish I knew who the other ones were. There's so many good qualities about Penny.
Penny was so legit. If he would never got hurt, I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put him 5 because I think who your other. I think I know who your other 2 are gonna be.
Okay. LeBron James.
Ooh. I'm gonna put him. He's gonna have to go 3.
3. Okay.
I don't love him. I would put him 5, but overall, he's 3.
He's 3. Now, somebody made a great point the other day. Like, people compare him to Michael Jordan and act like, but somebody was like, he's been in the league 21 years. Of course, he's gonna get these. You're in the league that long and start every year. You're gonna get every record. You should get every record. You would imagine. In 21 years in the league, he's only gotten 4. Where Michael got 6 in however many years that he played. And
Michael was with the same team.
The same team, yes.
And the same players.
The same players. This is true for all of his. Michael Jordan.
1. Always the GOAT.
Always the GOAT. Michael Jordan. Is there somebody that I did not mention that you would like, that you would have put in your top 5?
John Stockton.
Oh, yeah. John Stockton. I like John.
B.J. Armstrong.
BJ, see, this is the point guard.
These are all the point guards.
Point guard. Is there even a point guard position anymore? Like, somebody, of course, runs the ball, but you almost feel like there's no true point guard.
Like basketball has changed so much. I don't feel like they run plays anymore. It's all run up and down the court and dunk and jack up threes.
Yeah.
Like I'm a hardcore Chicago Bulls 90s fan. I mean, like, you don't see anybody running triangle offense. And you don't see anybody doing that.
You don't get that anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's true. So true.
I mean, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. I mean, you left off a lot.
Yeah. Well, we can only give 5. We
know,
yeah. No. Yeah,
those would not have been my top 5. But
yeah, Russell Westbrook, but he's a great player.
Yeah.
Allen Iverson.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Kevin
confident
Durant
in my list.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah. 10.
Okay, I got a couple of either ors for you. Okay, coffee or tea?
Neither.
Really? What do you drink?
Dr. Pepper.
That is Dr. Pepper your go-to in the morning? That's your morning drink?
Yes.
Nice. Dr. Pepper's so good. I love Dr. Pepper.
There is nothing, that first little just,
It's nothing better. Burn your throat. You just
that first swig, first thing in the morning, it's just like heaven on earth.
Now, is it Sonic or?
Fountain. Like, my daughter is super picky about breakfast, and there is nothing on this planet that she will eat for breakfast. So I am the terrible mom that drives her through wherever she wants for breakfast. And we have been on a Brahms kick lately. So,
oh, really? What's she getting from Brahms?
She just gets a plain biscuit. No butter, no jelly.
What?
Just a biscuit.
Just the biscuit.
Just a biscuit.
No meat.
No, but Brahms has some good ice, and that Dr. Pepper is good.
Is it decent?
Yeah.
But where would be your go-to place, though?
Probably Sonic or Casey's.
Oh, I had Casey's.
Oh, they're ice.
I quit drinking soda.
Well, I did too a long time ago, but it's creeped its way back in my life. So
you are hilarious.
You gotta have one thing. You gotta have one thing in your life that.
That's it. That was your one thing.
We are all gonna die of something, and Dr. Pepper toxicity is gonna be mine. So
that is hilarious. Okay, would you rather go hiking or biking? Neither.
I don't. Where am I doing this at? I have a Peloton bike. I love to ride my stationary bike inside. Hiking, I'm going to be very picky about where I'm hiking.
Gotcha. Where would you pick to hike?
I'm not hiking in Oklahoma. I'm probably not biking in Oklahoma either. I mean, it just really depends. Like, I mean, there was a volcano mountain something in Honolulu that I did not get to do, and I would like to go back and do that someday.
Gotcha.
I don't know that it's really hiking; it's more like walking up. Hiking is like crawling over things.
Okay.
I'm
kind
not
of
doing
adventurous
any of that.
kind of thing.
I'm not wearing special shoes.
This is a tourist site.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not wearing I'm not putting any ropes on. I'm not doing any of that. And if it's hot, I'm definitely not doing that.
Pizza or burgers?
Ooh. Depends on the day. Probably a burger.
Okay.
Yeah.
You like it. Do you have a favorite spot for burgers in Guthrie?
Brahms. I have to give you my. Okay, so my family is cattle farmers, and so meat is meat. Burger is a burger to me. Like, I mean, I know it's not in Guthrie, but my husband and my daughter love the garage.
Okay,
like, absolutely love.
I've never been there. People have told me that they have good burgers.
It's a burger. It has cheese and bread and.
Oh, you're saying it doesn't matter. It's a burger.
No, it's a burger. Like with Brahms, I can have a burger and a chocolate malt.
Yes.
So,
if I'm going anywhere, like people want to go to these fancy places, they be like, "Where y'all want to go? Can we just go to Brahms?
Yes.
Do I have to go?"
Yes. I don't need to drive to Edmond to go get a cheeseburger. Like I'm gonna go to Brahms because then I can get a malt, and it's not far. And I don't gotta wait.
And it's a decent burger. I mean,
it's a burger.
Yeah, it's a good burger to me. There's some burgers though. Like, are you gonna eat a McDonald's burger?
No. No.
See, that's true. Yeah, so that's what it is. Okay, here we go. Gardening or cooking? All right, let's figure it out. What? All right, we're gonna get one that you gonna.
I'm gonna go cooking, but I don't do either.
You don't cook either.
No.
Oh, so who cooks? What is
Nobody. We eat at Brahms.
We eat at Brahms. Where were you going to dinner? Brahms. Where are you going for breakfast? Brahms. That is hilarious. All right, would you rather watch sports or play sports?
Well, I'm old, so I'm gonna probably go with watch now.
When you could do both at a high level, watch TV and which one would you have picked?
Play.
Play, yeah. Past or future?
Future.
Who's one person in the future you like to have dinner with from the past? One person you like to have dinner with, outside of your family.
Cale Sanderson.
Who's that?
He's the Penn State wrestling coach.
Oh, okay. He's one of the best. He's like John Smith's best.
Better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so did you begin to be intrigued with wrestling once you became a chiropractor, or were you always?
Okay, so basketball and wrestling season overlap. So I had never been to a wrestling match in my life. I started my sports, so graduated from chiropractic school in 2006, came to Guthrie in 2007, started my sports medicine, what we call a sports medicine diplomate. So it's a 3-year post-grad after chiropractic school. So part of that, it's a 3-year program. You have to present a paper. You have to get it's a published paper. You have to do 100 hours of on-field experience. You have to take a written test and a practical test. And so in addition to your 300 hours. And so the 100 hours, I was like, oh, this is easy. Guthrie's a sports town, should be easy, and it wasn't. So at the time, Coach O'Connor was here, coaching wrestling. And then Coach Stevens, who's now the principal, was the assistant. And so Coach O'Connor, he said, hey, we don't really have anybody that comes with us to wrestling. We'd love to have you. And I was like, okay, I don't know anything about wrestling, but whatever. So I remember at the time, Landry Chappell was a senior. And so we were in Chickasha, and I was not confident enough to be on the mat yet. And so I, sat in the stands, and they started, and I was like, what the heck is this? I'm going to sit here for 24 hours and I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, hey, what happened? And Landry's like, well, you got a takedown. What's that mean? He's like, well, he took him down. Okay, well, explain that to me. So then Landry gets sick of me and walks off. And so then I get one of hey, you come here, sit right here. So by the end of the weekend, I could tell you what a takedown was and a reversal and all the things. And fast forward to, that was 2012. So when I started with Guthrie, just taking care of them. And sometimes they're like, shut up, Dawn.
Okay.
So I have to.
Now you're all in.
Yes. Yeah. Last year we got back from, we had gone to South Padre for spring break. And I told my husband I wanted to be back in time to watch the NCAA finals. And so we get back, and the commentators do not love OSU. So I had it on mute, and Dayton Fix was wrestling, and I was yelling at the TV. And my husband does not know anything about wrestling, so he's sitting on the couch just pretending to be
there
involved
with you,
with whatever I'm involved in. And so I'm yelling at John Smith to throw the brick. The brick is their little foam block, and it's a challenge. So I am yelling at him.
Oh, hold on a second. I don't know anything.
He needs a challenge.
So he's challenging a call?
He's going to challenge a call.
Okay.
So I am yelling at the TV to throw the brick. And my husband's looking at me like, and I'm like, it was locked hands. And my husband's like, oh my God, she's crazy. So then I finally, turn the TV back on mute. And then the commentator's like, oh, it looks like John Smith's going to throw that brick to challenge that call of locked hands. And I'm like, I told you. And so at that time, I think my husband finally realized, okay, maybe she does know what she's talking about. So.
Yeah. And this is going from, I just happened to get invited to come be a part of the high school wrestling program in with the job that you have. And now you are watching it, wanting to get home from spring break to watch college wrestling and calling.
Yes.
Calling how the coach should be.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say anything to the new head coach because he obviously knows what he's doing. So I'm just going to sit and smile. But yeah, in the summers, and I don't know how I don't even remember how that started. So in the summer, I travel with Team Oklahoma. So it's all the best high school wrestlers. And so there's a tournament. It's moving to Wisconsin this year. So we'll go to Wisconsin in June for national duels. And so it's where Oklahoma wrestles Pennsylvania, Illinois, Iowa, all of that. And then we'll come back. They'll practice for 3 weeks, and then they'll go to Fargo. And then Fargo, they're still a team, but it's more individual. And so you'll see, every guy that's going to college on a D1 scholarship is going to be in Fargo. So, you're getting to watch, OSU just got Jax Forrest as a recruit for he's a junior this year, so he'll be there in 2 years. But I got to watch him wrestle in Fargo last year, and he's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Wow.
So, yeah, so Fargo's really cool because you get to see, this is the future of what wrestling is going to look like at the collegiate level. So
yeah. Well, that's cool. Okay. What's one thing you can't live without?
Just one? I don't know. I would say church.
Church?
Yeah. Because I like sometimes if you miss, I don't know if this with you or not, like you just get that ick feeling for the week.
Yeah.
Like and you can't put your finger on it.
Right.
But like last week I was having just the weather. I hate bad weather, and it's just busy time of year, and the weather makes everything crazy. And I can't remember. Super Bowl Sunday, my husband had gone out of town. And he had gone skiing with his buddies. And for some odd reason, my kid and the dog decided that they were going to let me sleep in. And I woke up at like 9:45 on a Sunday, and church starts at 10:30. Well, I ain't making it because I got to shower, dry my hair, or whatever. And so that next week, I was just, just off my game, whatever. Just, you felt ick. And then, you get to church on Sunday, and that feeling just goes away.
Yeah.
I don't know. Church prevents the ick factor. I don't know.
As a pastor, I'm all for this. Just keep talking. Yeah.
My husband always laughs because, if I'm in a bad mood and we're headed to church, he always we need to get you some Jesus. This is always just a running joke at our house. If anybody's in a bad mood, it's because you skipped church. You need some Jesus.
Yeah. No,
church
that's
and
good.
Jesus, I guess.
I like that. Kind of going back to your high school, understanding who you are today as a doctor, chiropractor. Did you know that when you graduated high school, what you wanted to do and what?
I knew I was going to go into healthcare. I didn't know what I was going to do. My junior years, when I decided, I had done an internship with a gynecologist in an OB-GYN that summer, and I didn't love that. And I really wanted to do kind of like not necessarily an 8 to 5 job, but I wanted to be able to be there for my family if I was going to have a family and that kind of thing. And so my dad had hurt his back at the time and was seeing a chiropractor. My degree was going to be in nutrition, and so I loved sports, and so it kind of all just went together. And so once I went to chiropractic school and all those things tied together, it was kind of like, oh, this is what I was made to do. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. How many years to be a chiropractor in school?
3. Well, you have your 4-year undergrad and then 3 years of chiropractic school, so 7 total.
And then did you have to do some type of, what did you call it?
So I did a sports diplomate after that. So
Yeah.
3 years. So my all together was 10.
10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. While you were in school learning to do all things chiropractor, you have your own practice.
Mm-hmm.
You come out of that. Was it like, I didn't learn enough about the business side of it? What is that? Because oftentimes my friends who are doctors or something like that, they come out and be like, I wish I would have learned more. I think they get taught some things.
I was very blessed. When I graduated, I had I practiced a year in Oklahoma City, and I got in with the family, the Muse family, and they had 5 clinics across the metro. And I 2 days a week, I covered Dr. Amanda's maternity leave. And then the other 2 days, I would work with Dr. Angie Shepherdson. She now works at Bob Mills Sleep Spa. And then Dr. Ashley Muse. And they were phenomenal mentors. And just, it was really great because, like, say if we weren't busy or whatever, I would, always ask Dr. Ashley, like, what can I be doing to get better or whatever? And she'd be like, she would always tell me, go sit with Laura. And so Laura was the office manager at the time. And so I would go in Laura's office and, sit down, and she would kind of laugh, and she'd look at me and she'd be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, teach me what you know. Because I knew how to be a doctor. I knew how to treat patients, but I didn't know what she knew.
Yeah.
And so she taught me the diagnosis codes and the insurance billing and the personal injury side and just all of those kind of things. But I mean, even doing that with them for a year, and then when I started up here, it was still like drinking water from a fire hydrant because, I mean, it's just all coming at you. And I mean, like, I remember my first round of, I had bought a practice from Dr. Jill Battencourt, and she was still very paper. Like, everything was paper. I had never done paper in my life. Like, everything was electronic. We did school, we still had paper notes, but everything, coding and all that was on the computer. And so I remember my first round of like Medicare, I sent out a big batch of Medicare claims, and it was like, like $2,700 of Medicare claims. And it came back and it was all denied. So like, you're like, oh God, what's wrong? How do I just literally treated all these people for free. So I spent lots of hours on the phone and, just trying to figure out, what I was doing wrong and how to fix it. And I mean, I finally figured it out. And I think 18 years later, I think chiropractic school is very different than what it was when I was there. I think they do teach them a little more business aspect and real world experience, because I think a lot of people would graduate and, those things that make you successful and how to bill insurance and, who to call and those kind of things. They didn't really teach you that. They taught you how to market. Like, that's a great and all once you get them in the door, but how do you make sure you get paid once they're there?
Yeah.
So that's kind of that's really the only thing that, if I had to redesign their curriculum, I would just definitely put real world stuff that they need to know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Now, another part of it, like, you got the business side, dealing with insurance, doing those things, getting people through the door, let's say the promotion, the marketing side of it. Like, were there things that you had to learn to do that? Because I'm just thinking, like, everybody who wants to be a business owner out there.
I think when I first came to Guthrie, it kind of felt like, ooh, new meat. So everybody, like, at one time I was on president of Kiwanis. I was on the YMCA board of directors. I was on the chamber board of directors. I was in Rotary. And I also was the, would call it the president of Relay for Life. I was the director for Relay for Life.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
Granted, I was, and wasn't a mom or any of that at the time. And so, I mean, there was something every night. Like, you would go from, Rotary at lunch to Kiwanis at night and chamber board at 7 and whatever. I mean, like, it was just something. And so those were all great things because I got to be in the community. Like, I got to meet people. And as far as like marketing stuff, in a small town, I don't do a lot of marketing. I feel like marketing is when you're out in public.
Right.
Like, my husband always jokes around that Guthrie is like Cheers for me because there's not anywhere I go that they don't know my name. But I'm like, you just make yourself known,
right?
Be present in the community. But I mean, as far as like marketing, I mean, I think if I was in Dallas, Texas, I would have had to market the crap out of myself.
Yeah.
But in a small town, you don't really have to.
But the Kiwanis, the Rotary,
I mean, like that
doing
was
those
still
things.
marketing.
Yeah.
It's still marketing.
You're making yourself
But
visible.
Yes, just making
and-
yourself visible and, introducing yourself and that kind of stuff, I think is marketing. But like, like actual like posters and that kind of stuff. Oh gosh, if I had to do that, I would not know where to begin.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think you're probably doing it the best way, you know,
Yeah.
as far as just getting out there serving, letting people see your face, and that's how they begin to know your name and everywhere that you go and all those things. What would you tell a student who's right now thinking about being a chiropractor? Like, what would you say for sure do this if they're junior, sophomore, senior, getting ready to graduate?
I have right now. She is doing her internship with me, and so she's been with me. I think she's been there 4 days. So she comes on Mondays and Thursdays, and so she's funny because all my patients tell her, don't do anything she does, don't do anything she does, and I just think that's so funny. I mean, and I know they're kidding, but she's very quiet right now. I mean, I think she's still kind of, trying to get the lay of the land and, figure out, what to do. And so I was teasing her yesterday. I was like, yeah, don't do anything I do. And she was like, yeah, because it's not working for you. And so it's just, fun because I tell them, because I had a young man last semester too. And I kind of tell them, you're going to see me do things, and then you're going to go to chiropractic school, and you're going to be like, ooh, she's... The biggest thing I can tell, like in chiropractic school, they are all about your documentation. So like when you see a patient, you go straight to the computer and you document everything you did, and you got to write down everything you did. And I do mine at lunch, at the end of the day, at night, the next day. Insurance likes you to have them done in about 48 to 72 hours. So that's when they get done. Yeah. And with chiropractic, I mean, most of these patients have been my patients for 17 and a half years. I mean, I can tell you what segments I worked on 2 weeks ago on a patient, because most people present with the same thing. They say they have the same problem. So unless it's a new problem, remember what the old problem was. Yeah. So the notes are not something, and I tell the kids, I'm like, you can do them right then, but I don't have time. So they get done just whenever I feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you get them done.
Yeah, they get.
And make sure you have it done for the insurance. I guess
they get done. They get done. Yeah. But I told them, I'm like, there's my best advice that I give to them, because everybody wants to come out of school. You're going to have debt. You're going to have a whole lot of debt. But everybody wants that flashy new clinic. They want that big brand new building with all the chandeliers and the beautiful lights. And you don't need to go out and spend $300,000 on a clinic, because it doesn't matter what the clinic looks like. It's a matter of what goes on in that clinic. Yeah. And that's what I kind of told her the other day. I said, when I started, I have a really cool, stretch strap now that, I use. But when I first started, I remember it was a Dallas Cowboy beach towel that had gotten at a Cowboy game. When you're walking around and they ooh, come fill out for this credit card. It was my first credit card too, by the way. And so that was my stretch strap. I used this I used that thing until it tore. Yeah. And so I just told him, you don't need all the flashy, pay as you go, buy things as you go, because, like I said, it doesn't matter what the clinic looks like and what equipment you have. It matters, who you are and what you do with it. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's cool. That's really good. You recently won or was awarded Business of the Year by the Chamber of Commerce. Did you know you were going to get it?
No. My friends are mean. They're so mean. I even tried to get out of it that morning.
What, to go? Or?
Yeah, I didn't want to go. After you work all day, you don't. You just want to go home.
I get it.
I love Brittany Timmons, but sweet Jesus, that event is like 4 hours. They start at 5:30 and it ended at 9:30. And I'm like, oh my God, it's time to go. But, and I even told Brittany Chandler, I was like, hey, let's go. Let's walk out. And she's like, no, we have to stay. Let's stay. And I'm like, why? I didn't know. And so, and I still didn't know. I had no idea. And it was funny because Brittany had never been. I was like, why do you want to go to this? And I was like, you've never even gone to the chamber banquet.
You should have known something was up.
And it did not. She was like, oh, well, Maneka wants us to go and wants us to dress up. It'll be fun. They're going to have a cool, fun photo booth. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so we get there and, we eat and whatever. And like, when I finally realized Maneka was like on the third paragraph of her speech. And I remember looking around the room because I had turned my chair so that I could, see.
Yes.
Well, Maneka gets up to go award. Well, I'm kind of looking around up here. Well, Sarah Phillips has her phone out and she's videoing and I'm like, just kind of like, I thought she was just taking a picture. So I'm not. And then I kind of do one of these because I was like, where'd Brittany go? And Brittany had scooted her chair back a little bit, but she was videoing it.
Oh.
But I'm not oblivious. I don't know. So Maneka gets up there and goes on. And so she says, how many people, run your own, how many people have 10 or whatever less employees? And there's, about 5 of us or like, whatever. And so, and Brittany is over there giggling because Brittany's like, oh my God, I just knew she was going to give it away in that first sentence. And she was like, but you were oblivious still. And I was like, yeah. So then she's like, how many 5, how many 1, whatever. And so then she keeps going on and I'm just like sitting there, just, enjoying I'm like, oh, and then she says something about, because I always thought Business of the Year was one of those awards, you have a lot of employees, you really contribute back to, the economy and, being just me. But Maneka had made a point, she said something along the lines of contributing to our economic because this business gets people back to work. They don't miss work. And I was like, oh, that's really good. And I still had no idea. So then she goes on.
I want to be that person.
I was like, oh, that's really good. So she gets down to like the paragraph 3 and she says something about, representing Guthrie America on the international wrestling stage. And I remember it because Sarah had sent me the video and my eyes get real big because that's when it finally clicks. And then you can see the sheer panic on my face if I've got to get up and go say something because I told you when I came
you need 4 or 5 months.
I can talk all day long, and everyone that they always laugh at me when I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that because they know I do not like to. I'm not a get up and just do it. Like, for example, I'll give you. I'm on my off year as an elder at church. But as part of being an elder at First Christian, you do offertory or you do communion. Well, they give you a schedule months in advance. So and then what you kind of want to, your offertory or your communion thought's going to be something along the lines with Ronnie's sermon. So in advance, so that you can prepare.
Yeah.
So the joke always is if say, whoever is sick that's supposed to do offertory or communion, they're like, hey, Dawn, can you fill in? No. If they ask me that morning, I am not doing it. Because I have not had the time to prepare.
Yeah.
And Jeff Ball used to always tell me, Dawn, Jesus will tell you what you need to say. What? And I did forget one time that I was supposed to do it. And we were in the car and I'm like, okay, Jesus, we got to be there in 20 minutes. So if you're going to tell me what I need to say, you need to roll with it. Tell me.
This is your moment, Jesus.
Because Jeff used to make fun of me because I'd have my little index card, when I get up, and I'd be like, I feel like my voice shakes when I get up there. And it doesn't. You're the only one that's nervous. They're listening to you, but they don't care.
Right.
So the look of sheer panic was, oh my God, I have to go up there and say something. So I go up on stage and Brittany Timmons is laughing because they all are laughing at me because they all knew.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm like, thank you, grab my award and take off. And she's like, no, you have to say something. I'm like, no, I don't. And so I appeased her and
you say something and you kill it, and it's
I
great.
don't know if I killed it.
And
I was super nervous and felt like a big old dork and just really wanted to jump off the stage and run away and hide.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for what you do and how your business contributes and gives back and helping people get back to work.
Thank you.
That's really cool. Was it like a special moment? Like
2024 and the first part of 2025 has been a not on my bingo card. Wow, holy crap! I can't believe this is my life. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it was special.
That's good.
So I went to Albania with USA Wrestling last year as part of the medical team, and that was amazing because my ultimate goal with starting my sports medicine program multiple years ago was to go to the Olympics. Like I want to be at the Olympics with USA Wrestling, and so this was step one. So you have to do an international event. So I have met all of the criteria in order to go to the Olympics now. And so I happened to, when they asked me to do that, I was super excited because, all the people that, are going to world championships are Olympians. So, I mean, I got to meet Jordan Burroughs and Vito Arunzu and James Green. And most recently, OSU's head coach, David Taylor, had gone to wrestle over there. And so it was just kind of crazy because you're just like standing next to the greatest wrestlers of our generation right now. And it was kind of cool because, David's just David. I mean, he's a great guy, super, super amazing. And we get back from Albania and he says, great to meet you. And, thanks for thanks for going with us. And he's just kind of like, we'll see you next week. And I was like, what? Okay. So then that was kind of fun because then I went up and had lunch with the trainer and one of their physicians that following week. And since November, I've been going to Stillwater on Tuesdays to take care of OSU Wrestling. And so that was not on my bingo card. And just, I still, when I pull into Stillwater and put in my little password to open the door, because I mean, that's my alma mater. And you're talking, this is John Smith's wrestling room and, all the greats that have been there. And so when I punch my password on the door to that wrestling room and open it, I'm just like, every week, it's just like, holy crap, this is my life. And it's just amazing. Just the guys are amazing. And just that whole, I mean, like I said, it just, the winning business of the year just capped off an amazing 6 months for me. Yeah. And so, I mean, like you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, can it get any better? But I think God's answer would be yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That is so cool. Okay, I got a couple of fill in the blanks. Okay. If you could teleport anywhere right now, you would go where? Heaven.
I want to see my mama.
Oh, that's precious. That is so precious. The one thing you never leave home without.
Oh gosh. One thing I never leave home without. My kid. My kid, probably. Yeah, she's always with me, but I mean, right now, I would probably say my med bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Your dream dinner guest.
Kelsey Anderson.
Kelsey Anderson. The best piece of advice you've ever received is?
God's answer is not always no. Sometimes it's not yet.
It's good. My favorite way to relax after a long day is?
I don't know what that is. I don't relax.
I was about to say, do you relax?
No, I don't like to sit still.
Okay.
I hate being still. So I don't know the answer to that.
You don't know the answer? Okay.
I have a vacation. I mean, like taking a vacation. I mean, I'm not going to relax during the week because I'm busy, whatever.
All right,
go to bed. Go to bed, I guess.
Go to bed. That's the best way to relax for me.
Go to bed.
I'm working on like going to bed, getting my hours, right amount of hours of sleep, all the good stuff. All right, this is called Pass or Answer. Pass or Answer. This is the last segment for last couple of questions that I have for you.
Okay.
What's your go-to social media platform? Pass or Answer?
Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook. Do you have a book you most suggest to others?
Most recently, The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros.
Okay.
Get some tissues.
Get some tissues.
That was a good one.
Yeah. How do you find inspiration in the work you do or in general?
Ooh. I just think there's always something that you're just the day to day. I mean, there's inspiration in every day. I mean, like with my line of work, you're always going to have those awesome cases that you may or may not, you just have to be patient sometimes. And so and like I said, God's answer may not be right now. It may be just not yet. And so I think that's one of the biggest things I've had to learn, that I want them to be better right away. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes it may take 2 visits, sometimes it may take 12, but it's knowing that once they're better, I was a part of that. I didn't do all of it, but I was a part of it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, just those amazing things that I've seen happen. I mean, that's what provides the inspiration to go to work every day, because you know that you're going to be a part of that. That's
cool. Last person that made you laugh or smile other than in this setting?
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, probably my husband this morning. Yeah.
Good. What's one thing on your bucket list?
I want to go to Greece.
We're working on a trip to Greece.
Yeah. Our 20th wedding anniversary is next year. So I think that's a hopefully.
Greece. Okay. Which island?
All of them.
All of them.
I want to do a cruise.
Okay. What's one hidden talent you possess?
I don't know. I
pass or answer?
Pass. Okay. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I don't have a hidden talent.
If you could be any animal, what would it be?
Oh, gosh.
Pass or answer?
Any animal. Probably a giraffe.
Oh.
I want to be able to see everything up high.
I don't know if I've ever had anybody say a giraffe, but that's a good one.
I think that would be a cool one. You get to see all of it.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that answer. What's the weirdest food you've ever eaten? Pass or answer?
Oh, I'm not eating any weird foods. The weirdest food I've seen someone eat. So when we were in Albania, there's lots of seafood, and I'm trying to remember. One of the physical therapists was eating like seafood paella, and it had eyeballs in it.
Oh no!
It was like octopus and squid, and he just went to town, and I was nope.
No,
I ate my pizza.
If you could write a note to your younger self, what would it say?
Some things you just need to let go.
That's good. That's good. All right. Last couple of questions. GuthrieAmerica, we have a lot of parades. I won't say we have a lot of parades, but we have parades that matter. Do you and your family have a parade spot?
Yes.
Where's your spot?
With the chapels in front of the nursing home.
Oh, Ash Street?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I think I've seen you there.
Yeah.
What's something you're most grateful for right now?
Everything. I mean, everything.
Yeah. It's good.
The sun.
Yeah, this might be true. Can you share the best ways to give back in the community?
Just be who you are and find out and it doesn't have to be, I just feel like, if you can make sandwiches for the football team or, stir Gatorade. There's so much. And it doesn't have to be athletics. It doesn't have to, there's so many things. There's, United Way, there's, just all the things. I think if you have to find the one thing that brings you joy.
Yeah.
And do that.
Yeah.
So.
That's good. We have a Choose Guthrie sign behind you. There's a few throughout the community. What does it mean to you when you see a Choose Guthrie sign?
I mean, it brings me pride because I think a lot of people have misconceptions about Guthrie. And I will say, until I moved here, I had never been to Guthrie. I mean, the only part of Guthrie I had ever been to was the Loves on I-35. And I didn't even know there was a town until I came here. And it's one of the sweetest little towns you'll ever find. I mean, people are nice. People are amazing. Everybody's always willing to help. And I think it's just part of, you're going to find great happiness and great joy here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, choosing that is essentially choosing happiness and joy.
Yeah, that's good. Don, thank you so
welcome.
much. You killed it. You were great. You don't need no prepping.
This microphone is still tripping me out, though.
You've owned that mic for the last 63 minutes. You've owned it. Thank you so much. You got a last shout out you want to give anybody? A what up to anybody?
Go Pokes.
Go Pokes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hitting that play button for another episode of the GuthrieAmerica podcast. We are on a mission to have every story told of the individuals from here and those who live here. The question I always love to end with is, will yours be next? Go in.